Hey guys, it's Ty the Dog Guy here, and I want to tell you a story about Ronnie and his owner. They recently came in for boot camp, and this is what they look like. He was pulling all over the place, he was out of control, he was jumping on everything. Here in a second, you're going to see how he treated dogs. And the way that he treated dogs is the reason why he came into our boot camp. Our boot camp is a really intensive, training where whether we're talking bad manners, bad obedience, or some heavy aggression, we work the dogs through it. But Ronnie and his owner came to us, one day, and when I saw him, I immediately said, all right, we've got to do a case study on this, because he was pulling and he was all over the place, but it was when he started seeing dogs that really the fireworks started going off. In fact, here you can see here, so we've got a dog on the other side of the fence, and the second he starts to see that dog, boom, you're going to see him, and he starts lunging, just with enormous power. I've got it muted because I'm talking, but he is screaming. He's like, rah, 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 rah. The dude's going nuts. So I thought, this is going to be perfect. We can help dogs like this. We can help dogs that are worse than this. We can help dogs that aren't as bad as this. But we can help dogs like this. And I want to show people exactly how we do it, whether they're dealing with anxiety, aggression, fear, bad manners, or what have you. So stay tuned, buckle up. I'm going to take you some really great content on how we go about fixing a dog like this. It's relevant for all dog owners. Enjoy. Guys, I'm putting together kind of a compilation video with this dog. And so the video you just saw of the dog lunging, pulling, is 2 minutes ago. And so all I've done is I put a training collar on him. I haven't started yet. And so I'm going to start from the very beginning on what we do to get the dog like this to start calming down. And so there's 3 reasons why dogs disobey or do things we don't like them to do. Focus problems, communication problems, and relationship problems. What you just saw is a focus problem. He's so focused on everything else but the owner, whether it's a dog or just simply getting excited. He's so focused on everything else that, he just loses his mind. And you saw it with the other dog, you saw it with, so you saw it just when he came into our building. And so focus is built through what I call spatial awareness. So if I can get the focus on me, I can start getting off other stuff and start teaching him how to relax. So we teach a method we call the crazy man method. Essentially, it's a lot of directional changes, so the dog is like, man, this guy's crazy, I gotta pay attention to him. So we're gonna have the camera follow me around as I work on this. Come on, come on. So he goes, hey, come on, come on, come on. Good boy. Come on, come on, come on. Good boy. Come on, come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, come on. And this is the value of a pinch collar. Come on. Or prong collar. I don't have to use a ton of strength. Good boy. Come on, come on. Good boy. So notice how I keep the leash loose, but just barely. Good boy! There we go. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Come on. So you notice every time he goes too far, the tendency most people have is to do what? To pull back on the leash, right? So that's just going to create more frustration on his part, more pulling. And so as he goes too far, I just do a directional change. We go a new direction. You can see here in like 3 minutes, he's already improving. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy. That's how you walk good. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. So you notice all the communication, he's actually wearing himself out because he's got so much like adrenaline burning through his system right now. He's so excited to come into our building. And so like I said, this is literally 7 minutes since he arrived. And so he's gone from like crazy like adrenaline rush down to like a bit of an adrenaline crash. Because physically he's done very little, but mentally this is like big, ups and downs for him. And that's why you see the dog that has tons of energy suddenly acting tired, because his brain is kind of going through these ups and downs. So what we need to do over the course of his training is teach him how to like remain more like this, just kind of calm, a brain that's focused, a brain that's under control. Let me do just a touch more. Come on. Come on. Come on. You notice I never pull. It's always just these quick little taps. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Come on. There we go. Good boy. Come on. Good. Come on. Come on. Come on. Sit. Good. And see, that's the critical piece. And I might even recommend, if you're working on this with your dog, go back and rewind. Like, as he's going towards the trash can to sniff it, don't drag him away. That's what most people would do. It's tap, tap, tap on the leash. Pulling, the dog doesn't have to think. He's just getting dragged from A to B. Whereas if the leash is loose most of the time, it allows him to think and allows him to work through the process. So we'll keep you updated on some more video with this guy and show you his process. But like I say, you know, this dog, literally 7 minutes ago, out of control, mind off in the solar system. Very quickly we can get him under control by insisting on some focus. Focus is the opposite of crazy. It's the opposite of chaos. Focus is what gets us to this great level. So stay tuned for more video. So we brought him in and we started doing focus work around other dogs. You can see I'm starting to move away from the other dog and get his focus back onto me. And we did this for a couple minutes, and then I decided, hey, let's talk to the camera a little bit more and explain exactly what I'm doing. About 10 minutes in, so you saw, in fact, here in a second, I'm gonna have Lee look at the floor. You can see the claw marks where this dog was like clawing to get to this dog. So what we've done is we're working, nope, focus work away. Remember, focus work is all about spatial awareness. Come on, come on. Sit. Sit, down, down, down. So focus work is all about spatial awareness. Nope, down, down, all the way down, there. Okay, come on. And so as he starts losing focus on me and putting it on the dog, no, come on, come on. Go in the opposite direction. Come on. Good. Sit. Sit. So literally here within 10 minutes, now we've got a lot of work to do. You know, we're gonna have this dog for 3.5 weeks. Got a lot of work to do. But here in the space of a few minutes, I mean, the dog is now even closer than before, and he's relaxed, he's calm. So I'm a little bit out of breath because this is a heavy dog. But other than that, you know, we start to see that he's starting to understand some barriers, starting to understand how to just relax. Sit, sit. He's not used to doing that. I mean, there's a guy outside washing windows, and he's like, oh, I got to be interested in that. So he's not used to just how to be. So we're going to work on, like, you know, teach him a place command and to lie down and stay. But first things first for this guy is we've got to show him, no, you can't act crazy and lunge at whatever you want. And so like I say, here in the space of 10 minutes, you know, we've already got him acting way better. This is a nice little juxtaposition, a nice little comparison between 10 minutes ago. So we'll have to keep you posted as the 3 weeks go on. So we're continuing here in our little our case study of Ronnie. And so Ronnie came to us at the end of last week, and you saw some video of the first 10 minutes that we had him. And so we've been working on some stuff for the past few days. Today's Monday, and so we've only had him for a few days, and so I kind of wanted to show you the progression that we go through. Now, I might have said this the first day. I can never remember things that I've already said to people. So if I get repetitive, forgive me, but repetition is good for learning, for you and for dogs, for all of us. And so what we need to be aware of is why dogs are disobedient. There's only 3 reasons. Dogs have what's called, they have either focus problems, communication problems, or relationship problems. Now, so much of the aggression and the reactivity that we saw from him on day 1 was a focus problem, meaning the dog gets so focused on an outside stimuli and has no idea how to break that. And so the way that the dog has learned to break it either comes through fighting or, you know, I've seen some dogs like this that go up and they just play super rough or super heavy, or they go up and they're confused, or whatever the case might be. You know, they've learned, easy buddy, they've learned their ways to kind of deal with it. But obviously we want them to deal with it in a very calm way. And so focus is the enemy of so many problems that people have. As we see how he's not having much focus right now. That's fine, I'm going to let it go for right now so that we can address it here in a second. But focus is why dogs pull on the leash. Or it's a big reason why dogs will pull on the leash. They get so focused elsewhere. Focus is a big reason why dogs don't come when called. They get so focused elsewhere. And focus is a big reason why we have reactivity or aggression issues, whether it's the dogs or people or kids or whatever. They get so focused elsewhere. So we need to teach focus. Now, I probably have over the course of my career, but I don't generally teach like a watch me command. I know a lot of trainers do that, but I don't like to do that. To me, it seems kind of artificial, because what I've found over the years is that as we teach the dogs certain concepts of training, they naturally want to focus on us. And so we get to the point where we don't have to, we don't have to tell them to watch me or anything like that. The dog just learns how to focus. Now, focus is built on teaching what I call spatial awareness. In other words, having the dog be aware of their space as it relates to me. Because you saw in the first video, in the very beginning, he had no spatial awareness. He was so intent on getting to that dog, I was like an afterthought. He had no idea that I was even there. And so spatial awareness involves moving away from the dog and teaching the dog to always, be wanting to come towards me. So one thing that we'll do, that we'll do to teach this is we'll use an e-collar. We use it generally on a low level for most dogs. Even for a dog that kind of loses his mind, we tend to use a low level. And so what we'll do is we'll allow him to lose focus. And I'm actually going to hold down the button for 2 seconds. Come here. Come here. Oh, good boy. Good boy. And so I held it down for a couple seconds, and I told him to come. And the second he turned around, I released the button. So he's, that one time meant nothing. But as I do it again and again and again, he starts to realize, okay, when I feel that little tickle, I look to the owner. That's a good thing. Now, I might use some food with a dog like this. Come here, come here. Oh, good boy. Good boy. There you go. Good boy. In fact, we'll use a short leash for right now. And so I hold it down. Come here, come here. Oh, good boy. The second he comes, I release. So we're not looking for any sort of pain with the e-collar. We're just looking for slight irritation. Come here, come here. Oh, good boy. Good boy. In fact, we want to keep that nice, happy attitude. We just want to add some focus to it. Good boy. So now he's distracted. I'm going to hold this down. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm using a continuous stimulation with the e-collar here. Now I'm doing that because I always kind of equate this with confusion. And so I want him over there feeling like, that's a weird feeling. Why am I feeling that? So he feels it. He feels it. Suddenly he turns around. Now the reason he's turning around is because I'm using a little bit of leash to help him. So come here. Come here. Come here. I'm still holding it down because I don't have the focus. Come here. Good boy. Now I release. Good boy. Good boy. All right, guys. So this is another thing that I like to do in our process. In our process towards getting a dog over an aggression and a reactivity problem. And so the first thing I did there is I made sure that he sat. And the reason why is the dog's mind tends to follow his body. And so if he's just standing without anything to do, just kind of sitting there twiddling his thumbs, his mind starts going down this path, or potentially could start going down this path. Sit. Down. 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 Could potentially start going down a path where he's making some bad choices, and so, nope, down. So I found over the years that if we anchor the body, the mind tends to be at least a little bit more anchored than if it's just sitting there wandering. And so this is important for those that are working on any sort of aggression issues in public, wherever it might be. Nope, down. Don't ever just have your dog just be like completely off command. I mean, it can tend to be a big problem. And so we've got these dogs on the other side of the fence, and they're playing, and these guys aren't, they were a second ago. But they're playing and they're having some energy. And I wanted to see if that brought anything out of this guy. And so I call this training by omission, meaning nothing's really happening. He's just on one side, they're on the other. But literally 3-4 days ago, he would have flipped his lid. He's been out of his gourd for something like this. And what's he doing now? He's in avoidance mode. Now this is important to understand because dogs, when they're stressed, they've got 3 options available to them. They've got fight, flight, and avoidance. Now you've seen him in fight. You've seen what that looks like. He's not a flight dog, so really his only 2 real options are fight and avoidance. And so as he looks at the dogs and looks away, he's making an active decision that, all right, I can't fight them. What else can I do? All right, I'm going to pretend they're not there. I'm going to go into avoidance. Even him looking at me, it's partially focus on me, but it's partially avoidance away from them. And so this is not a good final result. You can tell there's still some stress here. But the stress in the matter of 3 or 4 days is so much less than it was 3 or 4 days ago, because we're we're saying, hey, listen, we don't tolerate it when you do this kind of stuff. In fact, you have to heel, you have to sit, you have to down. And this is where obedience can be so important. You see here he's licking his lips, his eyes are wide. There's stress. And so that's why I call this training by omission. Nothing's happening, but he's put in a position where it's like, okay, deal with my stress and adapt or freak out. And so we've taken freak out off of the menu. And so really what's left is to adapt. And so he doesn't know how to do that yet. You know, he's going to spend the next, couple weeks here learning how to do it. Nope, sit. Down. And so this training by omission, what it does is it allows him to kind of bathe in a scenario that's somewhat stressful, but not give in to the stress. And therefore, if he does this again and again and again, he can start to lighten up a little bit. Now, this is his first time ever doing something like this. And, he's about 2 feet away from the dogs. This is the closest that I think he's been to other dogs in a long time, because he just doesn't know how to deal with them. So for me right now, this is a compromise that I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to accept because it's not fight, it's not flight, and he's making good choices. Now, again, there's stress there, but that stress is going to start to bleed out as he realizes how he can respond. So I say that because, again, we see the ears back, we see a dog who's a little bit stressed. But remember, when you saw him the first day, he was 10 times more stressed, and he was exhibiting it in a way that was just crazy and insane. And so now, yeah, he's still stressed because dogs make him stressed, but he's realizing he doesn't have to act in a way, 10 times this level. So hopefully that makes sense. Keep with us as we continue on our little, on our case study here. All right, guys, so we are just over a week into training. I think we're figuring he came in on a Wednesday. This is Friday of the following week, so we're about 9 days into our 3-week program. And so you've seen some of the progress as we've come along, where he's getting better and better, calmer and calmer, things like that. So now is the time to get him up close and personal with other dogs. Now, as we do this, we need to be careful. So what we've done, you'll see here in a second as the camera starts to pan, is we've got just a few dogs out, and we've got dogs out that have kind of like a calm nature, so they're not too over the top. And we've got Ronnie in a muzzle. I don't like muzzles as a long-term solution, but as a short-term way to make sure that we're not getting dogs hurt, muzzle's a good idea. And so what we need to do over the next little bit is work him on muzzle around other dogs. So the main critical ingredient here is, as I bring him in, there's a few things. Before I bring him in, I want to get his mindset right. Sit. Good boy. And so I do a little bit of what I call priming the pump, and I'll show you that in a second. It's just like a minute or two of very quick obedience. And this is the type of stuff that I'm going to do before I go into a pet store or a vet's office. Like if I'm worried that my dog's going to have a bit of an issue, I'm going to prime the pump, get the dog's mind in obedience mode. And then from there, what I'm going to do is the dog needs to experience things in what I call his peripheral. And so when I come in, you'll see me on camera here. Now if he lunges, I'm going to have to just do some triage right there and work through it. But if he comes in and he's stressed, I've just got to get him moving. Motion allows him to experience the other dogs from his peripheral, and so he can deal with them better. So if you take a dog like this and just put him in a group of dogs and he sits there, he's liable to really struggle. But if I get him moving, he can think. So for you guys trying this at home, what's pretty critical here is, number one, don't try it at home, just hire us to do it. But another critical thing to think of is how are you going to set this up? Because you've got to set your dog up for success. So I'm not going to do this at a dog park. Hey, nope. Dog park would be the worst place to do this. Sit. I'm not going to do this with my neighbor's dog that's out of control. I'm not going to do that, I've got to set up the scenarios where everything's as calm as possible, and then we can build on that and ask the dog to do more. But again, it's got to be set up to where everything's safe. So he's got the muzzle, we've got dogs that have a good temperament that's going to match him well, things like that. So like I say, I'm not going to show you too much because there's not a lot of width here for the camera, but priming the pump is very simple, quick obedience with the leash. So come on, sit, down, come on, down. Come on, boy, come on. Right now, he's got the muzzle on and sit. And it's really clouding his thought process, and that's why I'm trying to get him to lie down and he's a little bit frozen. Again, I don't like the muzzle long term, but we got to keep people safe. So anyways, when I'm priming the pump, it's sit, down, it's real quick stuff. So the dog's like, whoa, we're in obedience mode. So by the time you take him in around other dogs or people or whatever you're working on, the dog's going to be in better shape. Come on. So, sit, he's got to experience the dogs from the right state of mind from the get-go. So the last thing you want to do with a dog like this, I know, buddy, he hates that muzzle. You can tell he's just, let go of my muzzle. The last thing we want to do is bring a dog in, he's pulling on the leash, stuff like that. And so I've got to get him calm. So I'm just going to kind of bathe him in this calmness. No, leave the muzzle alone. Good boy. And I'm just going to let him sit here for a second, detox his brain a little bit, and then we'll bring him in. Good boy. And then once he comes in, we're going to move. So Sarah with the camera, just try to catch me as best you can. So here we go, coming in. Come on. Come on. And so I'm not going to let him dwell on any dogs. Come on. We're just going to move. Now they're going to be interested in him. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. And he's kind of a little bit concerned about the muzzle right now. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Come on. So if you have the time, now we've only had him for a bit, so the ability to get him super used to the muzzle, we haven't had the time to do that. If you have the time, get him very used to the muzzle. Come on. There we go. Come on. Sit. And once I feel like, come on. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Take it easy, easy.
Cooper.
Come on. Good boy. And now I'm going to take him out. Good boy. There we go. And so in fact, let's get Millie over here. There we go. So I want to describe what just happened there. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Look, the muzzle comes off and his tail starts wagging. You don't like that muzzle, huh, buddy? And so the other dogs started taking a little bit of issue with him. And this is one thing you're going to notice with dogs that have been very reactive in the past. They're so used to like having this energy with them around other dogs that other dogs can pick up on it. And so Cooper here wasn't being aggressive or anything, but he was starting to like growl and like, hey, something's off about you, and things like that. And so that's the kind of stuff I need to watch out for. So it was a little bit of back and forth, and then we take him out. We make sure that, hey, that was a good thing. But we also got to be careful to watch the other dogs. Now Cooper never would do anything wrong, but he was just like, hey, why are you different? Essentially, is what he was saying. And so, good boy. And so that's why it's so critical to choose the right dogs. If you've got a dog like this that's got some reactivity issues, it's so important that you get them around the right dogs in order to socialize them, in order to, come on, sit. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, buddy. Good job. See, you did good. So, like I said, this is a dog that 9 days ago when he came in, you could see the intensity with which he wanted to just go up and get that new dog. And he was like that with every dog in the beginning. But in 9 days, we've got him much further along to where he's really a lot calmer. Now, we've still got a little bit to go. We're going to have him another 2 weeks or so. And so we've still got some work to put into him. But this is very valuable. It's very valuable to understand that dogs are willing to get rid of crap from their past very quickly if we just show them how. And so we show them a very clear process. First it's this, then it's this, then it's this. And so I say that because one of the biggest mistakes people say is they've got a dog like this and they'll say, he just needs socialization. So they'll throw him into a group of other dogs. When, yeah, he needs socialization, but socialization has a very clear process in which we do that. And so we've shown some of that. We're going to show some continued stuff and show how we're able to keep him going over the next little bit. But yeah, Mr. Ronnie's doing well. We'll keep you posted as he continues. All right, guys, so we're continuing our saga with Ronnie here and getting him to not be aggressive. So this is the dog that was aggressive towards everyone, that lunged and whatnot. So we've gone through this process of direct and indirect. So indirectly, we're working on obedience, his mindset, we're working on structure, leadership, all that sort of stuff. And then directly, we've taken this path of, as he gets that indirect stuff, we start bringing him around dogs. So of course, we've had him around other dogs with the muzzle on, and you've seen some of that already. So this is our maiden voyage with the muzzle off. And so just like with muzzle on, we've got to be very careful about how we do this. And so we've got 3 dogs that have just kind of a nice, calm personality. We're going to do the exact same thing we've been doing where I bring them in and it's motion back and forth. But off muzzle, we've got to be careful because what can happen is sometimes dogs will shut down because of the muzzle. And so they might not be aggressive, but they're not aggressive for the wrong reason. We want them to be not aggressive because he chooses to, but some dogs will be not aggressive because the muzzle's on. Hopefully that makes sense. And so I don't think that's the case with him. Everything we've done with other dogs, he's been getting calm and relaxed. And so, but it's something I want you to watch out for if you're doing this with your dog. Do as much proofing with the muzzle first, get the feel for whether or not your dog is calm, relaxed, and then we can do off muzzle. But again, just like we did with the muzzle, when we first go off muzzle, I've only got 3 dogs. I mean, we've got tons of dogs here at our training center, but I'm only going to start with these 3. They're probably not going to be too into him. They might come show him a little bit of interest, but we're going to make it nice and relaxing. Now, we can tell he's a little bit stressed. You can probably see he's in avoidance. We talked about this in the very beginning. Dogs when stressed, they've got fight, flight, and avoidance. He's choosing avoidance. Now, avoidance is the best out of the 3, but what avoidance can lead to is acceptance, where, if he's avoidant towards these dogs, the more we get him around dogs and the more avoidant he is, the more he realizes nothing bad ever happens, and so he's in good shape. So I'm going to do like I did before. I'm just going to open the door, walk right in. I'm going to start moving. And it's important now, if we have a worst case scenario happen, he's like, no muzzle, I'm going for it. It's just up in the air. And I know that sounds ugly, it's not fun, but we've got to keep everyone safe. And so hopefully we don't have to do that, but for you guys at home, if you're trying something like this, if he starts like going for someone, I'm going straight up in the air and we're going to walk him out and, make things safe that way. So, here we go. Come on. Come on. Good boy. There we go. Come on. Come on. There we go. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Come on. Good boy.
Cooper, come. Cooper, come.
And his body language isn't bad. We're getting even some tail wagging. Not right now. He's getting a little bit nervous. Come on. Good boy. Goldie. Hey, Goldie. Hi, sweetie. And so the idea here is that he interacts with the other dogs. The idea is that he can share space with them and not flip out. Come on. Come on. Good boy. There we go. There we go. Come on. So I'm going to do maybe about another minute, and then I'll take him right out. Sit. Good boy. And I'm not going to let anyone come face to face with him just yet. And so I'm keeping this guy at bay. Come on. Good boy, come on. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, come on. Good boy. Sit. Come on. And if I have him sit, it's not for too long. I don't want him dwelling on the other dog. So I'm going to take him out. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. So what just happened is that went into his mental bank, right? Sit. When did he get here? 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, he had no idea he could do something like that. 2 weeks ago, he thought every dog he encountered, he had to flip out and attack and be aggressive and things like that. So he had no idea he could do that. It wasn't until a few days ago when we put the muzzle on him that he realized that he could even do that. And so for him, this is a great experience. He had there was only a little bit of least communication on my part, just a little bit of correction. And that's why it's so important that you put down a foundation of some good obedience first so that your dog actually listens to you. And so that was only like 2-3 minutes or whatever that was, but it goes in the bank. And so every day we do this and it keeps going in his bank, keeps going in his bank. And soon, we've got a dog that realizes I don't have to be so stressed. Now again, if you know dog body language, you can look at him and you can realize, okay, he was walking around and he felt some stress. His ears were back, his body language was a little tense. So he was stressed. But again, what we're seeing is this stress is bleeding out. Day by day, he's getting less and less and less stressed. And so yeah, we're getting to the point now where he can actually coexist with other dogs. From here, we need to just make it more natural to where, you don't have to always be moving. To where, I can have you sit or lie down, to where you can just hang out, to where you're off leash, stuff like that. But for now, this is a great first, first maiden voyage without the muzzle. So hopefully this is making good sense. Stay with us. We're going to show some more stuff. So what we're about to do here is Sarah's going to take Ronnie out for a walk with Miss Goldie here. So it's important that you find dogs that have a good energy. I mean, whatever you want to call it. Dogs that match well. You can tell Goldie's got some nice training. She's a calm dog, and so we can gradually make the dogs more difficult. But in that respect, long term, I don't like socializing my dogs with dogs that are out of control. And so that's so even if Ronnie progresses to that point, it's not a good idea. I always kind of joke with people: you wouldn't take your kids to juvenile hall or to the prison to socialize your kids. Make sure that you're choosing some socialization partners that are strong. That are a good match for your dog. Just like you choose your kids' friends ideally. You help choose your kids' friends wisely. You're part of that decision. And when they're smoking weed, you say, don't hang out with that kid, right?
Yeah. Don't hang out with that kid.
Don't hang out with that kid. All right. So let's go out. Let's do a little bit of pack walking. All right. So there we go. Now the reason this can be so valuable, I'm going to talk here as she's working with these guys. The reason this can be so valuable is because dogs are motion creatures. They experience things so well when they're in motion, and so when we get them walking with other dogs, it's a way to bond. So, for example, we every year we work with a lot of dogs. We're working with families where it's maybe a 2 or 3 dog house, and the dogs start fighting each other, and we've got some big problems. One of the best things that we can do is start to get them to walk together, and that starts creating a bond. Now, even if you're in just a regular household with one dog, one of the best things that we can do is start getting the dogs to walk together. Getting the dogs to walk with the owner, because when you walk with your dog, it creates a bond. So when dogs walk with other creatures, they can't help but bond on a certain level. And so we want Ronnie to bond with this dog, and we'll take him pack walking with other dogs, and we want him getting used to this. So, like I say, the power of this method that we've been working through is awesome. Here was a dog who, just a couple weeks ago was wanting to attack every dog he saw. Now he's capable of being, up close and personal, no muzzle, and he's doing great. Now, the only other thing that I wanted to highlight, there is still some stress. We're getting him out of his shell more and more. There is still some stress. You can tell in his body language. He's not as open as Goldie. Goldie, for example, is just very casual, her tail's wagging. Whereas Ronnie, he's a little bit more tense. But again, that's a fine trade-off for now. Long term, as he's around more and more dogs, we're going to see him open up. And you can tell right there, he's kind of he's in avoidance with Goldie. He's just not paying attention to her. And again, that's fine. He may never love other dogs. And if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But if he is going to love other dogs, it's going to come through this avoidance behavior. There we go. So Sarah, you've been walking them together a lot. Is this pretty typical? Does he open up a little bit more as time goes on?
He does. And this is the start of a training session for him, but he does in about 15 minutes. He'll go a little bit through his stress curve, and then.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we talk about a lot as well, is recovery time. From the point the dog is feeling stressed to the point where they've recovered from that. And so that's another reason why every day we're just getting them out and walking them together, because if it takes them 15 minutes to work through that recovery time right now, tomorrow might be 14 and a half, and next week might be 14, and so we just keep cutting down on that recovery time. And so yeah, like she mentioned, kind of at the beginning of these, being around, doing one of these pack walks, he might be a little tense, but he's still making good choices. There we go. And see right there, he wanted to engage with her, and we allow that, and he's sniffing her. That seems little, but it's huge, because he's wanting to engage with her in a way that's healthy, in a way that's calm, in a way that's normal. And so when he's doing little things like that, we count those as little victories that go towards his ultimate rehab, or whatever we want to call it. Huh, buddy? Good boy. You too, Goldie. Good girl. He's a good puppy. All right, guys, so we're about to do a session here with Ronnie. And so we're here in our training room. We got 1, 2, 3 dogs. And again, we've chosen dogs that are, they're excited. They're happy dogs, but their energy is not like crazy, over the moon type energy. And so this is likely going to be our last video of our case study here. We've got Ronnie for a few more days. And during that time, what we're going to do is just a lot more of this. and a lot more of what you've seen, walking him with other dogs. But what I wanted to show you is one last video where we're taking him off leash around other dogs. So he's going to come into the room on leash. We're going to make sure he's feeling okay, and then we'll take him off leash. So why don't you go ahead and bring him in? Go. And so these are some dogs. He's met Goldie, as you guys have seen, but the other dogs he hasn't met yet. And so that was good there. You see how he actually wanted to engage with her?
Yeah.
Good. He's like, do I lie down? All right, why don't we let him off leash? Now, as he comes off leash, just go ahead and unclip it even. Come. Wrong person. There we go, big guy. He's trying to, this is his first time being like surrounded by dogs. And so once he comes off leash, we're going to keep him moving. Come on, bud. In fact, why don't you just kind of have him move around? So everything he's done up until this point, you can tell he's a little nervous because every time he's been around other dogs, we've been, he's been on leash. We've been kind of telling him exactly what to do. And so what we need to start doing right now and over the next few days is just a little bit more of this. There we go. We got a little tail wag. So we're starting to see him actually loosen up a little bit. So over the next few days, and so Sarah, call him over, maybe give him a little bit of food. And so we're going to start getting his mind, to think about food. Goldie's trying to steal the food.
Goldie, down.
Goldie, you little thief. Nope, he doesn't want the food right now. And that's probably, he's feeling a little bit overwhelmed because like I say, this, I don't know this is something he's ever done, been around 3 dogs. So over the next few days, we'll keep offering him food when he's in the group because what we want to do, because like I say, you can see he's starting to lighten up. If you go back and watch any of the video, anytime he's been around dogs, we get a little bit of tail wagging, but not a lot. And so there, let's call her away. Good. Just because we don't want, Ronnie digging in with somebody, and then here comes another dog. He might feel a little bit defensive at that point. And so Sarah, let's keep Ronnie moving a little bit.
Ronnie, come.
Come on, bud. Come on, bud.
Come on, buddy.
He's like, who do I go to?
Ronnie.
Yeah, maybe go over, just kind of encourage him. There we go. Yeah, once he's moving, he starts to feel better. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. But this is good. Now, well, it's good for a lot of reasons, but one thing I like about what we're doing now is the actual physical contact that he's having with other dogs. They're sniffing him, he's sniffed some, but as they're moving, their bodies are touching. Good boy, buddy.
Good job.
And so there we go. You can see he's actually wanting to engage. And so we'll let him do that for, just a few seconds before calling him on his way. Now, the reason why we won't, at this point, let him engage and actually start, there we go. That's good body language, buddy. And actually start engaging and playing. Good job, buddy. Is he doesn't know how to do it yet. And this dog here actually might help him a little bit. But what I have seen in the past is, the dog gets to a point to where they're feeling good. There we go. There we go.
They like him.
They do like him.
He's like, whoa, you like me a little too much.
It's because he's not fixed. They can tell a stud when they see one.
A little bit.
There we go. But yeah, so having him off leash and allowing him to interact a little bit more, we'll finally see his body language open up a lot more. There we go, buddy. We're getting some tail wagging. He's actually wanting to engage a little bit. But again, so like I said, the reason we're not going to let him like full on play is because at this point, play increases the adrenaline. And when adrenaline increases, that's the next door neighbor to, fighting. Adrenaline increases when dogs get aggressive, when they get anxious, and also when they play. And so we do want him to interact and enjoy, but we want it to be with low adrenaline so that he's not getting too overwhelmed. This is great. I see a few flashes of him being stressed, but I'm also seeing a lot where he's like even just right there, he's carrying himself really well. His tail's wagging as he's around these other guys. He's wanting to engage. So like I say, this is great because it's his first time off leash with other dogs, and so as we kind of finish up with him over the next few days, I think we're just going to see him get just more and more comfortable. Good boy. Good job, buddy. There we go. There we go. All right, guys, so I want to say thank you for watching this case study, listening, learning, and I hope you're able to learn a ton. Now, here in Utah, in Salt Lake City, we have been voted the best dog training company in the state of Utah 6 times. And there's a reason for that. We produce results that other companies just are not producing right now. And so perhaps your dog has aggression issues like Ronnie. Perhaps your dog is anxious. Perhaps your dog is just bad on the leash and doesn't come when called and pulls and jumps and all sorts of stuff. And maybe your dog's chewing or whatever the case might be. We have proven systems that we can take any dog and any dog owner through those systems to help them get to the next level. So down below you're going to see our website, tietheDogGuide.com. I want to invite you to visit that website. I want to invite you underneath this video here to check out the different options we have for if you decide you want to work with us or just get more information on what we do. So thanks for watching again, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.